Watching this movie for me makes one thing extremely clear. I need to see more Paul Thomas Anderson movies because I think that There Will Be Blood, I can honestly say this, is a masterpiece. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic, and on this channel it's my job to point you in the direction of movies worth checking out. So if that interests you, definitely hit like and subscribe. And today I'm here to tell you if There Will Be Blood is still worth the watch today. So in There Will Be Blood, we have Daniel Plainview, played by Daniel Day-Lewis, and he's a silver prospector when we first meet him in New Mexico, 1898. However, in 1902, he discovers oil near Los Angeles and establishes his very own drilling company. One day, one of his co-workers dies in a drilling accident, leading to Daniel adopting the man's orphan child, who he names H.W., played by Dillon Freasier, allowing Daniel to use the image of Family Man. Daniel's biggest business venture comes in 1911 when a man named Paul Sunday, played by Paul Dano, informs him of all the oil underneath his family's land in Little Boston, California. In an attempt to buy the land from the Sundays, the only person in Daniel's way is Eli Sunday, Paul's twin brother, also played by Paul Dano, who requests $10,000 for his quote-unquote church in exchange for property rights. From there, we see Daniel Plainview's rise to the top of the oil world, or do we see him descend further and further into madness? So is There Will Be Blood still worth the watch today? Well, in the intro I did call it a masterpiece. However, not everyone will think so. I can say that right now. So if you are a type of person who wants to go into movies only to be entertained and not really dive into those thought-provoking messages or really think about the deeper meaning of the film and just want to be entertained, then There Will Be Blood might not be the film for you. If you are interested in obviously great filmmaking with acting, directing, cinematography, production design, but are more interested in the deeper, complex character study of it all, then There Will Be Blood is the movie for you, because I cannot stop thinking about this movie. And every single day that passes by, I'm thinking about, maybe Paul Thomas Anderson was thinking about this. Maybe he wanted to do this. Maybe there's a whole allegory about this. Maybe the theme is this. It's like an onion, right? Every single layer is something new. And you just keep peeling it away, peeling it away, peeling it away. And this film is just so rich with deep meaning and themes, and it's extremely thought-provoking. If a film can do that, then you know that they're doing something right. Because like if you go on YouTube and you type in There Will Be Blood, there's so many explained videos, analysis videos, and all of them say different things, but none of them are wrong. It just shows you how deep and complex and really great this movie is. But before I go really deep into it, and again, this is just my own personal take on it, I have to talk about the cinematography. It is gorgeous. The depth of field, just the placement of actors, and the vast landscapes of the California oil fields, it's beautiful to look at. It really reminds me of a Kubrick film. This movie definitely has that Kubrick feel to it, and I'll talk about the music in a second, but just the shots, they look extremely beautiful. And one thing I noticed is that they have a lot of really wide, long takes from really far away for moments that you'd think in a more contemporary movie, in a more Hollywood movie, they would have them in close-ups. For example, when you have two characters reuniting after a long period of time, that's a pretty intimate moment for two different people, especially when they have different viewpoints on the matter. You know, one character is happy to see them, the other character isn't. You know, there's a lot happening there between the emotions of the two characters. Generally speaking, you're gonna wanna shoot that really, really close. Have a close-up, you can see the expression on their face. PTA shoots it really far back. And I noticed that, I'm going, why in the world would you want to shoot this moment from extremely far away? You're not really getting the real emotional moment of the characters. But then again, every single creative decision has a meaning behind it, especially when the filmmaker knows what they're doing, like Paul Thomas Anderson. And I thought, maybe it's because we're not supposed to sympathize with these characters. Maybe we're not supposed to understand what is really going on in their head. That's why we distance ourselves from them. And then as soon as the characters get really up close to the camera, there are emotions of greed, lust, and heartbreak. Almost to suggest that that's what humanity is. And then of course we have the music, which is extremely chilling, extremely creepy, but extremely unique and extremely well done. And I always think of the music in this movie because, you know, you take out the music and the emotion of the scene completely just changes, right? You're seeing a man rise up through the ranks in the oil fields in the 1900s. But you have this music, which shouldn't fit what's happening on screen, or at least our own preconceived notion of what should be happening on screen. Like, you have, oh, America, creation of America, Los Angeles in the early days, you should have some, you know, swelling Jerry Goldsmith type of score. But no, we have this very chilling, dark, madness sounding score, and I think, and again, this is just what I get out of it, the music personifies the victory that our own greed has over our own human morality. And nowhere are those themes more personified in Daniel Day-Lewis's performance. He might not be my favorite actor in the world, right? I'm not going, you gotta see this new Daniel Day-Lewis movie, but by God, he is the best actor to ever walk the face of this earth. I really do think that. He is a phenomenal actor, and I know people make fun of him because, you know, he turns into the role. It's like, I can't believe you would turn into a prospector from the 1900s for months. But look at the result. He totally deserved that Oscar that year because this is one of his best performances, and I love him in Gangs of New York, right? And I do want to watch more of his work because I find him so fascinating. And in this movie, his performance is one of the best I have ever seen, and I really do think that. I really think that this performance is one of the best in all of 100 years of cinema. He's phenomenal in this movie, guys. Right? He's a man that wants it all. He wants the power. He wants the money. He wants the influence. He wants a chunk of the world, right? He wants to be known. And what's great about him is that he's sympathetic and you're able to be on his side because you can understand how eager and how desperate he wants it. The courage and determination he's willing to go through to achieve his dream, right? Right at the beginning when you see him prospecting, you see him break his leg. And throughout the film, he has a limp, which is just such a great subtle detail for the performance. But you see him break his leg, and you don't actually see the entire thing because it would have been a movie in itself, but he has to drag his ass over to the nearest town and tell them, hey, I have gold here, I have silver here, I have found something here. Just that courage and dedication, and they don't even show it. You put that impression on the character yourself. That's the beauty of visual filmmaking, right? They don't tell you what to think. In fact, the first 20 minutes of this movie are basically silent. But the character development is so strong. You don't need words. You don't need dialogue to really portray that. You see it. And you see him go through all this hard work to get what he wants. And it's endearing. But the methods he uses to get to the top, that's when the morality, the question of morality and the question of selfishness comes into play. And of course the music makes him sound like a cold-hearted bastard, and you see him just do some really despicable things. But you can also see it from his side, which you think that you shouldn't, right? Your inner voice is going, you should not look up to this character because he's a bad character. But the film makes it so that you are able to see his side, and you feel uncomfortable knowing that you can. And he uses a lot of shady tactics. He takes a boy from a basket because he thinks that that will help his image, right? He gets baptized at the local church even though he does not believe in religion. He doesn't believe in any of this stuff, but he's willing to do it, and he's willing to embarrass himself just so that he can have the better public image, so he can keep doing what he's doing and rise up the ranks. Overall, he was always willing to put the job first and his loved ones second. But that makes it all the more tragic too. And you gotta think, does that make him an asshole? Right? When I look at Daniel Plainview's characters, I basically see the embodiment of the American dream. You come to this country, you work hard, you can make a fortune, and you can make it big. Right? It's the ultimate love letter to capitalism. But you really gotta think though, niceness didn't build the great cities of this world. It was hard work, it was shadiness, it was a lot of under the table shaking of hands, and a lot of shady business was going on. But that's what needs to happen for human evolution? Is it? Right? It's a tragic concept, and the character of Daniel Plainview is able to bring that tragic side too, even though you're supposed to hate him, right? If you met Daniel Plainview in real life, you probably wouldn't like the guy, but you do see the tragic side to him too. And I see that with the HW character, his own son, his adopted son, which he just took because he wanted to have a good image in the public eye. But then there are some scenes that you can really see in his eyes that he wants to love. He knows that he's a cold-hearted bastard, but he wants to escape that whole aura, and he wants to love. And later on in the film, his brother shows up, minor spoiler, but his brother shows up and he didn't even know. But then right away, he's like, you know what? I trust you because we're blood. And again, there could be some symbolism with the title too. And again, the title itself has so much deeper meaning. I heard that, you know, you can think of Daniel Plainview like Dracula. And then, of course, you have Paul Dano's character, Eli, as like the preacher, his direct opposite. And, of course, the lust that Dracula has for blood, Daniel Plainview's lust for oil. But the movie is called There Will Be Blood, the blood of the land, the oil. There's so much symbolism in this movie. And again, that might not be the most deep symbolism in the world, but there's so much of it. And the blood could be talking about his family members. He just automatically trusts his brother that his adopted son gets jealous and tries to kill him, right? The themes of family, the themes of blood. And again, this is just a theme that I'm kind of thinking of right on the spot, but there's so much in this movie. And it just makes you think about humanity. It makes you look inward on your own life. You know, and it kind of shows you, like, as soon as you start to get better at something, people around you will take notice of it, going, hey, this guy is, you know, slowly making his way to the top. And people kind of have that gut feeling. And so much so that people around Daniel Plainview, they are willing to use the exact same shady tactics that he is and try to coattail off of his success. And of course you have Eli, the church, which is basically the other side of the coin, using religion as a business and as a front for his own personal wants. So with that being said, you feel bad for the character because all these characters are trying to coattail off of his success, but then you also look at Daniel and saying, but you're using those exact same tactics to get to the top, and you're trying to go around the box and you're trying to cut people off and trying to cut corners and do some really shady, bad things. And it makes you ask, what is morality? What is morality? I don't know. And I don't think Paul Thomas Anderson knows either. And I don't think Daniel Plainview or Daniel Day-Lewis knows either. But this is a great movie because it brings up humanity, right? That's the ultimate question about humanity. Why are we here? When you think that all human beings have a moral compass, have a moral center, that we should do good things and we should treat each other well, but then there's the other side of the coin and think, well, why do we even do nice things for other people? Because it makes us feel good. So deep down, it's for our own personal gratification, which is pretty selfish. Is it though? That's the question. That's the question that these films bring up. And if a film like this can be visually stunning, it has this hypnotic effect that just draws you in with the performance, with the set pieces, with the cinematography, the production design, the music. The music is chilling. It creates a type of experience that you cannot get out of your head, and you start to think about humanity and the bigger issues of life. So if you like your movies without much deeper meaning and you just like it very, very surface level, you want to watch a romantic comedy because you want to laugh and you want to see some romance, then by all means stay away from There Will Be Blood. However, if you want a truly moving cinematic experience, watch There Will Be Blood. I'm giving this movie a 5 out of 5. And I think I need to see it again. And I think I need to see it again after that, because I feel like I'm going to learn more and more and more about the deeper meanings about this movie. And now, honestly, I cannot wait to see more Paul Thomas Anderson, and I cannot wait to see more Daniel Day-Lewis. So that's my question to you guys. What is your favorite Daniel Day-Lewis performance, and what is your favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie? I'm ashamed to say I have not seen many of his films. I haven't seen Boogie Nights, and I haven't seen Magnolia. I've heard they're fantastic. I have seen Punch Drunk Love. I don't think I got it the first time, but after watching this one, I may need to revisit that. But in terms of Daniel Day-Lewis, I do have a soft spot for Gangs of New York. I really do think he gives an amazing performance in that, but he also gives an amazing performance in this too. Now I guess I just need to see Lincoln, right? And My Left Foot, and Last of the Mohicans, and I have a lot of movies to watch. And like I said in the beginning, if you want to see more videos just like this, definitely hit like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay safe.